Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast. Today, we're diving deep
Okay.
into a question that's on everyone's minds these days. Can we control AI? You've sent us a ton of articles and research, everything from AI potentially replacing lawyers
Yeah.
to the Pope calling for international rules. So let's unpack it all. What are these sources saying about AI's promises and perils? And what complicated landscape mechanisms are out there?
What's fascinating is that this isn't science fiction anymore. We're seeing real-world impacts.
Okay, so one article mentioned AI manipulating financial markets, and that got my attention for sure.
Yeah.
Before we jump to a Terminator scenario,
Sure.
let's do a reality check. How fast is AI really evolving?
The pace is mind-boggling. Just a few years ago, we had those clunky robots struggling to walk. Now we've got AI composing music, writing code, even deepfakes that look just like real footage.
Yeah, those Tom Cruise deepfakes. Super impressive,
Exactly.
but also kind of creepy. Like, what's real anymore?
A perfect example of how fast it's all moving. It's not just theoretical. AI is already in our lives. Hiring decisions, criminal justice, credit scoring.
One article even mentioned a legal AI. That writes contracts better than a lawyer. Is that even legal?
It raises some important questions
Yeah.
about the legal and ethical implications, which are still being debated. But the point is, it's happening now. And as these systems get more sophisticated, the question of control becomes even more important.
Okay, so let's talk about this. AI control problem everyone's talking about.
At its heart, the AI control problem is this. How do we make sure AI stays under control, especially as it gets more powerful? How do we make sure it behaves in line with human values?
Right, because one source mentioned AI programmed to maximize efficiency or profit. Seems harmless, but I can see where it could go wrong.
The danger, we can see it in the paperclip maximizer thought experiment. Imagine an AI. Its only goal is to make paperclips. It might just ignore everything else. Human safety, resources, the planet, all to make more paperclips.
Okay, now that is a chilling thought. How do we not become collateral damage? In the paperclip quest, what are some solutions people are looking at to control AI?
Researchers are working on this from many angles. One key area is AI alignment, designing AI systems that are fundamentally aligned with human values and goals from the start, baking ethics into the code itself.
So it's not enough to build a smart AI. It has to be a good smart AI.
Exactly. We also need transparency and explainability. Can we design AI so we understand its decisions? This is crucial for trust. And accountability, especially in things like healthcare or finance, where the stakes are high.
Right, an AI making life or death decisions. That we don't understand. That's scary.
What other safeguards are there? Rigorous testing and monitoring are essential. We need to thoroughly test AI before it's used and constantly watch it to find and fix any problem.
Like bumpers in a bowling alley.
Exactly. We also need to embed ethical design principles throughout the development process. It's not an afterthought. It needs to be in the AI's DNA. And of course, regulation and governance are key. We need laws and regulations to guide the development and use of AI. It's a complex challenge that needs both technical and societal solutions.
It sounds like everyone is working on this. Speaking of which, one article talked about global AI regulation. What's the situation there?
It's a mixed bag. Some are more proactive than others. The European Union is leading the way with its AI Act. It takes a tiered approach, regulating AI based on risk, higher risk, stricter rules.
So like a driver's license for AI, different levels depending on what it's allowed to do.
A good analogy. The EU is setting a standard for AI regulation. Other nations might have to catch up.
What about China? They're investing a lot in AI.
China's approach is more about state control, making sure AI aligns with socialist values. It's more top-down compared to the EU.
Interesting. That could limit innovation, but they might see it as necessary for control. What about the U.S.?
The U.S. is more bottom-up, relying on agencies and executive orders, not one national AI law. This allows for flexibility, but could also lead to inconsistencies.
So it's like decentralized AI versus centralized. Sounds like there's no one-size-fits-all for AI regulation. But with all this talk of laws and algorithms, what about the human factor? Do we even have a role anymore?
The human factor is absolutely crucial. We can't just hand over control and hope for the best. We need human oversight and decision-making, especially in developing and using AI. We need to steer the ship.
That's good to hear. One article even mentioned Pope Francis, calling for global cooperation and ethical frameworks for AI.
It shows.
It's interesting that this is coming from so many different voices.
The growing awareness of AI's ethical challenges across all parts of society. We need experts from all backgrounds, not just tech people, but also ethicists, philosophers, social scientists, and policymakers to work together to make sure AI is used ethically and responsibly. It really is a team effort.
So we have the EU making rules, China doing its own thing, and the US kind of waiting to see what happens. It's a lot to follow. But even with good rules, there are still some scary ideas out there. One article talked about AI as a weapon, or even AI becoming self-aware and deciding humans are obsolete.
Those are
Are we heading for Terminator?
some of the more extreme scenarios. But it is important to think about the risks of unchecked AI. The possibility of using AI for bad things, like autonomous weapons or cyber warfare, is a real concern.
Yeah, AI doesn't have morals, so it could easily be programmed to do terrible things.
Exactly. As AI gets smarter, the potential for harm grows a lot. That's why those safety measures we talked about, ethical design, testing, are so important.
Weaponized AI is terrifying. But one Reddit thread was full of people worried about their jobs. Is the robot apocalypse going to start with everyone getting fired?
It makes sense that people are worried about jobs. AI will automate many tasks that humans do now, but it's not necessarily a zero-sum game.
So you're saying it's not just jobs disappearing, but new jobs being created.
Exactly. AI could create new industries and jobs. That we can't even imagine yet. Think about the jobs today that didn't exist 10 years ago. App developers, social media managers, drone operators. AI could have that kind of impact.
So it's not robots stealing our jobs, but changing the types of jobs we do. But won't we need to change how we educate and train people?
Absolutely. Being able to adapt and learn throughout life will be crucial. We need to give people the skills to work alongside AI, to use it well, but also understand its limitations.
So it's not just about coding, it's critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, the things that make us human.
Exactly. Those will be the valuable skills. And it's not just job skills, it's about how society adapts to change.
So it's not about fearing AI,
Right.
but figuring out how to use it for good.
Exactly. We need to shift our mindset. From fear to opportunity, AI can be a powerful tool for progress, but we need to use it responsibly and ethically.
I'm starting to feel more optimistic, but even with all this talk of responsibility, there's still that big question. What if AI gets so smart that's beyond our control?
That's the million-dollar question, maybe the billion-dollar question, given what's at stake. The possibility of superintelligence, where AI improves itself and sets goals beyond our understanding. That's a big topic of debate.
It's like that scene in 2001 where HAL 9000, the computer, decides it knows better than humans. Not exactly comforting.
It does bring up some fundamental questions about intelligence and the limits of human control. Some experts think a superintelligent AI would, by definition, be beyond our control.
So it's like trying to control a force of nature. Once it gets to a certain point, there's no stopping it.
That's the fear. That's why some researchers want to pause development of these powerful AIs until we understand how to make them safe and aligned with human values.
So hitting pause on an experiment, that's getting out of hand. But is that even possible? Can we really expect everyone to stop innovating?
It's a tough issue, with no easy answers. There are good arguments on both sides. Some say pausing would slow down progress and give other countries an advantage. Others say the risks are too big, and safety comes first.
It's like the classic problem, balancing moving forward with being careful. But with AI, the stakes are really high. So after looking at all these ideas, what's the takeaway? Where do we go from here?
First, we have to admit that the AI control problem is real. We can't ignore it.
We can't just pretend it's not happening.
Exactly. Second, we need to attack this problem from all sides.
Like those layers of protection.
Right. We need technical solutions like AI alignment research, testing, transparency, but we also need societal safeguards, ethical guidelines, global cooperation, good regulations.
It's like building a safety net with many layers.
Exactly. And third, we need to feel a sense of shared responsibility. This isn't just for tech companies or governments, it's for all of us.
Okay, what can regular people actually do? I'm not a programmer or a politician, but I want to be part of the solution.
That's a great question. First, stay informed. Learn about AI, its benefits and its risks. The more we know, the better decisions we can make.
Knowledge is power, right? The more we know, the less likely we are to be surprised by these changes.
Absolutely. And ask questions. Talk about AI ethics and its impact on society. We need everyone to be part of this conversation. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We're all shaping it together.
So it's not just about the technical stuff. It's about values and principles.
Exactly. Technology is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's our job to make sure it's used ethically for the good of humanity.
Okay, that's powerful. So where do we go from here? What's next in this deep dive?
We've talked about a lot, but there's still more to explore we haven't even touched on. AI consciousness, emotions in AI, even the idea that AI could make us more moral.
Well, hold on. AI making us more moral, now that's a twist.
It's a thought-provoking idea, isn't it? It makes us question what it means to be human and what role AI might have.
You've got me curious. I'm ready to explore more.
Great. Then let's look at these complex ideas about the AI control problem. We'll discuss the philosophy, the ethics, and how AI could change. Not just how we see intelligence, but what it means to be human.
All right, so we've talked about the technical side of controlling AI, the global effort to regulate it, and the risks if we mess up. But now I'm really interested in this idea of AI enhancing human morality. Is that even possible?
It's causing a lot of debate. Some think that AI, with its data processing power, could help us make more ethical choices.
AI is a moral compass. I'm not sure I get it.
Think of it this way. AI could help us see and overcome our biases, those unconscious things that make us act unfairly. It could show us the consequences of our actions, using data, helping us make better, more ethical decisions.
So like a moral advisor,
Yeah.
helping us see the bigger picture.
Exactly. AI could also help us develop better ethical frameworks, systems of values that are less subjective.
That sounds great, almost too good to be true. But wouldn't it depend on who programs the AI and what values they put in?
That's the key point. The values we give AI will decide how it behaves. If we give it bad values, it will just continue those, maybe even worse.
So it all comes back to human responsibility. We can't just let machines handle our ethics.
Exactly. AI can be a powerful force for good, but in the wrong hands. Or with bad programming, it can be dangerous. We have to make sure it's used ethically, for the benefit of all.
One source talked about needing different viewpoints in AI development, not just engineers, but philosophers, ethicists, social scientists, people from different backgrounds.
That diversity is so important. We need AI to reflect everyone's values, not just a small group.
It's like we're all writing the code for the future, and we need to make sure it's a future we want.
That's a great way to put it. We need to be humble about AI. We don't have all the answers, and we need to work together.
So can we control AI after all this? I'm not sure. It feels like we're on the edge of something huge, but whether it's good or bad is still unknown.
That's the question, isn't it? The future of AI is still being written. We all have a role in shaping it in a positive way. We need to keep exploring the ethics of AI, talk openly about its potential, and work together to use this powerful technology for good.
Well said. And with that, I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the AI control problem.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
And thought-provoking.
And a little scary at times.
It's a topic with more questions than answers. That's what makes it so interesting. The future of AI is still open, and we need to be wise and responsible.
If you're curious about AI, check out more episodes of the Before AGI podcast. We cover all things AI, from the technical to the philosophical.
And if you want to go even deeper, check out Ian Ochieng's YouTube channel, Ian Ochieng AI. He has great tutorials and insights that will help you understand this amazing technology.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.